Hello everybody, how's everyone day? Ame Gakita. Alright, for today's topic, we are going to discuss a little bit of localizer translation on anime, game, all these things, as well as AI translation. It's actually based off my take about the video created by Sharamun. I'll put up the link on the description below so you guys can check it out you want to check it out before I talk more? Go ahead. You want to check it after I give all my take? Also go ahead. But then again, I'm actually kind of saw this whole video myself. I kind of like understand what this creator wanted to showcase about her love for anime or the translation issue, all these things, and I can agree to some extent, but I will give out quite a few things about the whole issue about localizer and translation in a while. But it's more towards I actually didn't know about this video until I was sent until when I was like recently just talk about the four Waster talent release their statement regarding about the company being very black. Well, a shout out to Sin Z-san, who actually mentioned along the line that can you watch a video called AI Could Never Translate This Anime by Sharamun? He is curious about my take, and ho and behold, I shall give my take. Well, I won't be like going along a line of saying like, hey, I'm gonna watch the whole damn video and react every single thing. I had watched it to understand what was she trying to say, kind of like sometimes go to the back again, watch a few parts again to see whether am I misunderstanding a few points. And I can agree about one thing is that when it comes to poetry, whether it be by the English poetry or Chinese poetry or Japanese poetry, when it comes to like Japanese poetry, normally it kind of origin a little bit from the China poetry. And when it comes to poetry, the one thing is that sometimes we have to understand there is a deeper meaning to it. That sometimes, like I always love to use a double meaning to it, or sometimes it can hold the emotion of the person that is trying to convert but couldn't convert by any means. So that's why poetry is is part of it along the line, and words that can hold a lot of meaning, especially when it comes to Japanese as well as Chinese. There are quite a lot of Japanese word as well as English word that have like just one of the kanji itself can have many pronunciation. Or some of the Chinese word can have one word itself can have many meaning. So when it comes to Chinese and Japanese poetry, it is very, very hard to translate. Well, there are people who translate accordingly or something along the line, but when you come to trying to convey the true meaning of the poetry in a sense, it is very, very hard. Salah-san actually go along the line of saying that there are quite a lot of people with different translation, and then there's also the case where some of the translation can be either be the longer version, which is like trying to follow the traditional way, as well as there is what we call it the modern translation. It's basically trying to make it simplified so that whether if you put it on anime, manga, or whatsoever, if anyone who don't really want to read a whole damn context of stuff, then yeah, I mean like you want to go for a simple thing, because not a lot of people who read anime, manga, read manga, watch anime, or even like light novel, all these things, right, or even play games, right. If I give you two different scenario where one is a whole damn contest and one is short contest, yeah, you want to go for the shorter one. But then again, that doesn't mean it's a good thing. The reason why sometimes when I watch anime, I also read the manga version, is that sometimes reading the manga can show you more detail. It show you behind the scene, the inner thought that is not in the anime along the line. So it's very, very hard to translate every single thing or try every single emotion of the character accordingly. And especially like in this case, we are using Chihayafuru. Is that for Chihayafuru is actually about a poetry game in Japan, which actually basically there's a person who read the first few line of the poetry, and then the person will have to go and find the last few line of the poetry itself. And there is quite a few line that if translated to English, they have the same meaning or sometimes or the same word meaning at the start, and sometimes the of the word can like it mean a whole new different meaning. Like the English whole mean both of them have totally different meaning, but based on the Japanese version itself, the starting word is the same. So it can be a problem when doing translation for this, which actually begs the question: will human or AI able to do so? Well, the thing is, right? Based on Sora-san on the big title called "AI could never translate this anime," it's really understandable that I do. Even though for all the haters, I do have to agree that yes, poetry is very hard to be translated even by AI, let alone human. But maybe in near future we won't be able to wait for that moment because AI may be able to do so as quick as a human mindset is. I don't know. But then again, it really begs the question: will the AI translate the poetry as per what the original creator of that poetry had intended it for? Because the thing is, right, when you're trying to teach AI this kind of poetry translation, you have to like teach them not just translation word to words, but you also have to let the AI understand that there is emotion into it, there is the culture, there is the season, there is history, there is a lot of things that go into poetry translation. And when you put up a poetry to be translated by AI, will the AI understand that this is just a simple sentence? Or will the AI understand that this is a poetry translation, which is a very questionable thing. So the thing is, right, we can't be so sure whether will the AI think like human on the part where it will understand how we want it to be. But when you go and check AI translation, there is a restriction. In some AI, they have put out a restriction where the AI can put out their own opinion. They kind of add on their own emotion into translation, into the thing they do or translation. And when you eliminate that, can we be so sure that the AI will be able to understand the translation intended for the poem? So this is one of the things that we can't be so sure for now. Again, I have to emphasize on the word for now, because the moment when AI start putting their emotion into those translation, it will be a different ball game. All right. So all in all, I would say, as based on the restriction given to AI, will poetry translation by AI be a good thing or a bad thing? I would say it is a difficult answer for now. Very unlikely for in now, but it is a possibility in future. Again, back to the point that localizer versus AI. Do we want to have human BA or AI BA? Again, a lot of people will be saying like AI will replace all the job done by human localizer, which a lot in my previous video I've been giving a lot of takes about localizer bashing themselves, trying to discredit AI translation on the line. Is Sora-san trying to do so? I think very likely, because she's using Chihayafuru as one of the base. And when it comes to poetry translation, I do agree, even for myself, it's very hard to translate. So there is a very strong argument, I would have to say. Even for me, when it comes to AI translation, do I think AI will be able to translate poetry translation? I do not think so as for now. So at the end of the day, it is a win for human localizer or translator, if you will. But then again, I would also argue a point that I've been saying a lot of time, that AI translation should not be used as a replacement. I talked a lot in my previous video when I talked about localizer, about translation, all this thing along the line, and I would tell you guys one thing again and again, is that AI should be used as a tool. It should be used as a mean to let you have a better understanding of the thing that you may overlook, or maybe cut out the time that you can do it. But if company decide to go along the line of let AI translate every single thing, I think it will be a whole new mean floodgate coming out, because if anyone want to know about the old era translation where the dub or the animation was so much different in the English version than the original Japanese version, that it made you wonder like why did the Western butcher it. So imagine this time around if you give it to AI, totally to AI to translate every single thing, then it will be back to that era where people will be starting to bash that, hey, AI is also butchering the anime along that line. So is it really a good thing or a bad thing? To me, I don't think it's a good thing to fully trust on AI translation, because there are times when AI couldn't give you a proper answer or couldn't give you the answer that you're looking for when you ask a simple question. And there are also times when AI just give you information that does not make sense, or sometimes misinformation that you may have to search it out yourself and research yourself, and then you realize that, hey, it's a different topic that I intended it to be. So again, it is something that we have to have an understanding. Again, why I always say that AI should be used as a tool, because the thing is, right, AI do not understand what is the fine line, that fine line where what we are wanting. And to me, why I always been saying and vocal about that AI should be used as a tool is that we won't know whether do AI have that understanding, and that we human are understandable to this kind of situation, that AI, if we use it, we should use it as a tools to assist us to make life easier. In the short form of it, we'll be saying that there has to be a balance between machinery, AI, and human interaction. I'm not saying that human won't have mistake, because there are also the words sometimes in some disaster human error are the main source of reason, but that doesn't mean that machinery doesn't play a part in it. It doesn't mean that AI don't have a part in it. This doesn't mean that and natural or environment doesn't have a play on it. There are many factors that lead to a disaster, and in my take, I will say that a balance between AI and human or localizer in for translation, that it would be best that if they keep good translator or localizer, whichever you want to call them, and them using AIs for some part to make it much easier. And if the AI trying to keep it as close as the Japanese source, they can use it. And if the human file there is some word error or some of the thing that doesn't seem to make sense, they can do it on their own. At the very there is a work balance. There is a balance between AI and there is a balance between human interaction. So to me, I would say that would AI translation or should it actually do translation for Chihayafuru, or should AI actually do along the line of replace every single job? I don't agree with that. Again, a lot of the point of that, will AI replace a lot of job in future? Yes, maybe, I don't know. But the one thing I would definitely say that using AI as a tool to make life easier, yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. But then again, a lot of people now, again back to the old story about the localizer issue, a lot of people have been like, they call them we call them otaku, call them tourists, whichever you want. When you have a bad localizer or translation in working in the anime, manga, or game industry, or even any kind of industry that need translation, when they couldn't do it properly and they go along and say that, hey, we do a good job on it, we make it even better because the translation of the original source doesn't make sense to us, so we're gonna make the whole damn new script and let it be. Then there's the question of the point when I put up a statement that did localizer lie to the Japanese counterpart, indicating that they are going to rewrite the whole damn thing, which is the reason why dub is used as a thing, and I've been calling dub as a dumb translation of the original source. Again, back to the point that why would people mad at localizer now, is that again is back to the point that some people working in the localizer industry or doing their translation along the line, is that they are doing a very poor job, or they are not doing a job that is as what we wish for. But does that really mean that they are all of them are doing a bad job? Again, like I mentioned again, not all of them. a lot of people who always keep on vocaling or trying to make along the line, like I know sometimes when you want to put in too much passion into a job and then you realize that it can be replaced by AI, you'll be frustrated, you'll be disappointed, all these things, you can be sad, you can be unhappy about it, you can be angry about it. Yeah, it is understandable, but the question would be, will the other people understand? Now back to the question is that I will actually argue with the point again to all the localizer and translation, and even to Sora-san, Sora-san, is that can we be so sure that every localizer or translator who work in this industry is able to provide the best they can and not butchering or doing vandalism to the original source? Can we be so sure about that? Which the reason why when you can't give a definite yes, if you hesitate for a while, or you think about a while, or you even go to work or saying no, then that is when people will start thinking that AI translation may be the best way to go. And it's really hard to indicate that they will say, oh yes, they will. But the thing is that with a lot of the localizer who have been making a lot of noise in Twitter or in their Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media you want to go out along the line, is AI translation going to replace them? A lot of people are hoping so. Reason being that the localizer that are making a lot of noise are making noise, and they are a lot of the what they sure seems to be indicating they have been butchering. But then again, I have to now give the counter argument to all the haters or antis or we or whatever you want to call them, is that without localizer, can you be so sure that you come across such anime, as well as that can you be so sure that they are only butchering that one anime? The thing is, right, if you watch all the work they all the localizer done, there can be cases where some of the work they done are actually better than you might think. Will they be credited or not? Maybe the anime companies feel like, oh, you did not do a very good job, we shall not credit you. But then again, the credit in the credit part is that, do they deserve the part they have it? Because some localizer do deserve the credit, but some localizer really do not deserve it, because sometimes when they work on it, again back to the point I say in my video about situation the localizer lying along the line, is that sometimes localizer or trying to vandalize the anime because they hate it or whatsoever, and then it's not as close as it's just a whole new script, not as close to the original source, and then they trying to put their name into it. Reason being, so that they can put in their own resume that they have worked in the anime. And is that a good thing or not? That's just being a selfish thing. So the thing is, back to the point that, do they deserve the credit or not? It will have to be a very hard question to say, and unless they really work their ass off, that I don't think it's worth to be mentioned in the first place. Now, again, back to the point that, again, some people will be indicating, hey, but then again, you're saying that you are against localizer, right? Again, I have to say one more point all the time. I feel like I've been arguing this whole a lot. Is that sometimes localizer, there are good one, and they are deserving of the credit. They some of them have did so well in the translation that they have not gotten the deserve they got. And to me, I feel like some of them really should be part of the best one of the translated, because if they work well on it, if the translation did go through and it seemed very, very good, then I think they deserve it. But then again, we have to bet the question, what kind of translation do we know is a good one, and which kind of translation is a bad one? Which back to the question to being thrown back in the early start of the video by Shara-san, is that some point is very, very hard to indicate is it a good one or is it a bad one, because when it comes to translation, especially if you want to know, I've been very vocal about this when I talk about translation, especially in my live stream, is that I always mention it along the line. And as I will say it again, translation in Japanese is a very different ball game when translating to Japanese in a way. Is that in Japan, there is like different prefecture. There is like, what I mean is that there is Osaka, there is Kyoto, there is Tokyo, there is Hokkaido. So the thing is that when you go along with different places, all of them use different kind of Japanese. And what does that mean? Well, the thing is, right, let's say for example, if you use the word parking lot, in some places some places will use car park, some people will use parking lot, some people will say parking slot, some people will say park for car or whatever you call it is. And then you bet the question that when you come to the Japanese one, they will just use the word suchacho. But then when you use the word suchacho, sure, sorry, suchacho, when you go to Osaka, it's called motopuru. What I'm trying to indicate. So when the anime say the word motopuru, imagine if you let AI translate, AI will maybe probably give the word motopool, but will it understand it's actually referring to car park or parking lot or parking slot? We won't be so sure. So it's the reason why sometimes you may have to have a human to actually who understand the translation, will able to do that accordingly. And sometimes again, to the point that will the human actually also know that motopuru in Osaka mean car park? Can we be so sure about that? No. It's the reason why sometimes you have to understand, like when you live in Japan for more than 6 years, like me, slightly a little bit more than 6 years, okay. I mean, like 6 years, 3 months. I mean, I also beforehand I also live in went to Japan a few times. So yeah. When you live in Japan, let's say for 6 years, you learn a lot of different Japanese. You realize that Japanese, but say by different people or from different places, different prefecture, have different word meaning. And sometimes you're in Japanese, they will say so desu ka or nani nani desu yo ne. Like you repeat the question about the other party trying to ask you again. Is that in Japan, right? Sometimes you may misheard the words, or sometimes you may not understand the thing and you want to ask it again. Which is the reason why sometimes when I watch anime, do I still use the translation, or sometimes do I have to rewatch the anime again? Yes, because again, if I can do it to the English version, why not to the Japanese version? Because rewatching it, I know sometimes some people will be saying like you're wasting time. The thing is, right, sometimes you may misheard the thing again, and you might want to hear it properly until you got used to it. And even if you got used to it, sometimes you may misheard one or two words that can bring out a whole new different meaning or a whole new different funny moment, which is one of the reason why sometimes when you play telephone game in Japanese, it can be a funny whole situation. So now here's the part about my take for season. What is my take? Well, between AI translation and human translation, I would say there has to be a balance, and it has to be a balance. Will we throw everything to AI? I do not believe it should be. And even if there is an argument by localizer saying that company wanted to save money on human, because if they can hire less people and let one people doing it, and maybe even best just pay a lump sum for AI to do so, then that is a little bit problematic, because the company will just think of earning a lot of money, and then there will be less people doing this sort of job, and less and less people will want to go to this route, and it will become a problem. So I do agree with Sora-san about the part that so AI will take every single one of people job. I don't think so. But then again, I will have to argue that if the localizer is not doing a good job, they should not be doing this kind of job. Because there are cases where sometimes they outright some of the localizers sometimes just outright saying that, hey, we don't like this anime, or we don't like the original script, we're just going to add in our propaganda, we're going to add in our idea, our opinion, our stuff in, and that is not what anime lover want, appreciator want. Which the reason why a lot of people are bashing on localizer. It's not more because the AI should replace them. It's not because they are doing a project. It's that when you add in stuff, that is considered a form of vandalism, and it's really caused a lot of people to wonder that will there be always a fine line? To me, I believe in the balance between AI and human. It has to. Because the thing is, right, imagine if I tell you that can you let an AI drive your car and be so sure that AI won't get you into trouble or get you into a car accident? As for right now, it's still under testing phase. Or even to the point of that, can you be so sure that airplane can fly in the sky with no captain or pilot driving it? Can you be so sure to put your life into the AI driving the freaking plane for you? What happens if there is an error in the system that cause the plane to crash or to let it land in a different places than it intended? Which is the reason why when it comes to machinery or AI as well as human, it has to be a balance. You need a experienced or a trained personnel to do the job, because sometimes AI is technically, in my eyes, is like a machine. It can sometimes give error, it can sometimes not function as accordingly, and you need a human to guide it, you need a human to pilot it. Which is the reason, again, like I mentioned, in the Japanese, one of the people actually do agree that should we fire all localizer that do a poor job? Yes, but only the bad one. Not the good one, but the bad one. So what should we do about AI then again? Well, again, back to the point that I would believe that having AI translating a little bit and then having human to reproof it and see any error, and if there is error, they can change it to make it as good as possible so that the reader can enjoy it. But then again, that will be a whole new different topic for you guys to discuss on. So with that being said, write in the comment below, what do you guys think? Should AI replace everything, or should human really stay their ground and do translation, or is there has to be a balance? Personally, I do think the balance is the best way to go. But then again, it's best you write down your opinion and thought, and then we can discuss it further. With that being said, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about random stuff that never follow a single trend. And till then, hope you guys have a nice day or night. Bye.